is up? Welcome back to another video. This is a different one because I'm standing in this video. Also, I'm not gonna say it. We do have a box. We got a pet. You got a dog. Yep. And we got a package. And the point of this is a computer for someone that doesn't have a computer. And I thought, why not do a budget build video? The problem is I'm not actually building anything today. Today we are testing this puppy, kind of unpacking it, see what's going on, right? And then, we'll run some benchmarks, some stress tests or something, and see if you can game on this. The quick answer is, yeah, probably. That's the short answer. The long answer is this video, so stay tuned as I unpack. How heavy is this? Okay. Yep. Alright, we're gonna try and do this with a webcam, okay? This is gonna be really exciting. I need something to do. I need this chair there. You also have to kind of give everybody. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you, Max. Alright. Oh, look at that. What was that? I need to do these more often. This is really fun already. It's like I barely have to do anything. Oh wow, there we go. We just got entertainment up the gazoo. Oh, okay, well this is kind of a problem I wasn't really prepared for. Let me Tarzan my way into this box real quick. Probably cutting open the PC. I got this, don't worry about it. You're gonna hear so much garbage in the audio. Whoa, look at that! It's paper. Hang on. Ooh. You can have that shit. If you want that dog, you can have the pictures. That's yours. I don't care about it anymore. This is probably so loud. Like, I mean, it's gotta be extensively loud. I mean, my mic is telling me it's too loud. We're gonna turn that down a little bit. Okay. This is getting a little difficult to do here. Oh, we've hit computer. We've hit computer. We hit it. We hit the computer. That's the one. So, this in the title is probably going to say small form factor or something like that. This is not small form factor. This is a MT case. It's a Dell Optiplex, I think. Is that what I ordered? I hope so. Let me get this out of here. Wow, there's a lot of nice bubble wrap in here. I should do some ASMR. You guys are missing out being over there. Look at this thing. This is a nice looking computer. Okay, first things first. You can't see it from here, but that is just loosey-goosey. Like, where am I at here? See that? There we go. That is really loose. Now, it's got a disk drive in it, which is nice. It's got a couple of USBs, probably one or two. Like 1.0 or 2.0, I don't know. Actually, you could put a different thing in here. Because that's another 5 1/4. And then a floppy bay. Okay, well, this is a surprisingly nice case. I'm actually really shocked. I'm not gonna lie. This is, okay, it's got a Core i5, and it originally had Windows 7. So that's like, what, 2009? 2010? It's got a video card in here. However, I'm not too sure what it is. It's probably NVIDIA, maybe. An old card. How do I open this? Ah. Whoa, look at that. Whoa. I should turn it a little bit here. I'm going to turn it like that. Okay, it is very difficult to see. But right here, there's like an NVIDIA card. Oh no, is that, what is that? It's an AMD card. It's a Radeon card. What is it though? There's a huge fan encompassing this entire part of the motherboard to cool it. So, and it's got a huge heatsink underneath the shroud. Should be 8 gigs of RAM, so 4 sticks. So here's something that they're probably not going to tell you super often. I don't know if you can see the RAM. No, you cannot. Let me turn it this way then. That doesn't make it any better. I'm sorry. Let's do this then. Okay. Perfect. Video card. I'm looking at it backwards. RAM. Okay, so you get 2 sticks of RAM here in a really awkward spot. Okay. So a lot of times during shipping, which is what I was kind of worried about, it didn't happen though, I don't think. Let's try it. So what you kind of have to do if you buy a pre-build, right, from a company, you're going to want to open it up and check out all the parts inside to make sure nothing is loose. You're going to want to make sure nothing's loose. So we're going to push down on the RAM, nice and gentle, and it's all intact. It's actually not a bad motherboard. This actually looks more like a micro ATX board, if you think about it that way. This case isn't set up that bad. Actually, I would buy one of these computers. In fact, I did. You're looking. This is the one. But I would even buy one of these for myself and just have this as a work machine. But we'll get to that another day. I'm actually going to be building a second PC. And also upgrading my PC. I'm going to do videos of both of those, so that'll be kind of fun. Windows 7 Pro. Hi, welcome back. We're going to check out some benchmarks on this PC. I also ran benchmarks on other computers I have to compare to, which is it's a pretty broad range we have going here. But I wanted to talk about some of the issues we had trying to get this PC to run. So I decided to cut out all the footage I recorded, which would be separate things of me just talking about what went wrong and me complaining about the PC. I'll just kind of give you a brief rundown. So I couldn't install Windows 10 right away. It took forever. I couldn't figure out what was going on. It turned out one of the sticks of RAM, the stick of RAM in the first slot was fried. Just completely worthless. It was a dead stick of RAM. So threw that one out, put the second one in the first slot, ran it on 4 gigs of RAM, installed Windows, got everything kind of, up and running, got it together. And then I ordered a set of RAM, 2 4 gig sticks of G-Skill. To be honest, I don't even know what I threw in there. I just got something that would match what was in there with maybe a little more quality. It was pretty generic RAM in there, so I got some G-Skill RAM. I'm not like a RAM fanboy because I don't know much about that department specifically, but I've just had G-Skill in my desktop and my laptop, so I just kind of trust it because it works for me. So I threw it in there, and it works. 8 gigs of RAM. Problem is, Windows was giving us problems with this PC. It was just tearing up the disk. I thought the hard drive was dying. No, it turns out that Windows updates are just full of bloatware. What it seems like anyway. I mean, Windows is just full of bloatware anyway at this point, so we were struggling with that, trying to get this thing together. And I just couldn't figure out why it was so slow. But I noticed that the disk was just cranking out at 100% in Task Manager at all times. So I disabled some things. I disabled every startup application so that way boot would be a little quicker and it wouldn't, you wouldn't have to sit on the desktop for a minute waiting for everything to kind of compile. So I got it to kind of run pretty good, but with the benchmarks I did have a problem, which I'm going to get to. Alright, moving on to the benchmarks, I used Grid Autosport for a game benchmark, and I used 3D Mark 05 for an overall benchmark. I used these two because I felt like they would cover the broad range of systems that I'm trying to benchmark here. So for my desktop, which is a AMD Ryzen 5 2600 CPU, Radeon RX 570 GPU, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, running Windows 10 Enterprise on Grid Autosport, it got a total frame score of 8,590, average FPS of 60, minimum of 59.90, and max of 60.9. So very smooth score. It ran exceptionally smooth. It's definitely runnable at higher settings. The frame rate will just drop a little bit here and there. So I just ran this on auto, and I think it was more around like medium high settings. Moving on to my laptop, which I benchmarked, which is a very low level, like a netbook essentially. That has a AMD E1 1200 APU using Radeon HD 7310 graphics. It's a chipset. 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, almost essentially the same as the RAM in this Optiplex 980. And the laptop is running Windows 10 Pro. And the score on here is a joke. It's only 1801 total frames. Average FPS of only 12.52. Minimum 1250. And it only reached a maximum of 14.25. Essentially a joke. Just rough. Yeah, rough performance. There's things I could have done to kind of speed that up, but I chose to just go auto all the way. So it was at very low, but with a lot of things still enabled. So it really chopped it down because it's a pretty weak PC. So moving on to the Dell Optiplex 980, it got a score of 6,654 total frames, an average FPS of 45.37, which isn't terrible. That's actually above a standard console frame rate of 30, a minimum FPS of 33.23, and a maximum FPS of 64.51, which isn't that bad. That's kind of surprising. And this PC was running an Intel i5, I think a 3rd gen. It's a dual core that can be boosted to 3.1 gigahertz, but it's usually around like 2.8, 2.9. It has a Radeon HD 4550 video card in it, 2 gigs of VRAM, 8 gigabytes of DDR3 just like the laptop, and it's running Windows 10 Home. I guess we could move on to the 3D Mark scores. So this one is it's quite a range here. My desktop that had the Ryzen 5 had 29,818 3D marks. That's, I guess, just what they use for their score. So it got a score of 29,818. The laptop with the AMD E1 1200 APU only got 3,304. So that's quite a difference. And the Dell Optiplex 980, which is what we've been working on with the Intel i5 dual core, I'm assuming a 3rd gen, and the HD 4550, didn't get a score. I couldn't even run the benchmark for some reason. There was a bug, and I was so tired dealing with this PC. Just getting it to run games was enough for me. So I guess we could run with the score that we got through Grid Autosport, which is, I'd say, is fairly similar, the 6,654. We'll just have to run with that in comparison. So it's definitely faster than the laptop by, like, I'd say 2 times here, if I'm thinking right, because it'd be a difference of 3,000 points, essentially. So, or at least in Grid Autosport, it's not. It's actually quite a jump. So we could almost say that it would have gotten a score around 8,000 or more points, let's say. So it's not anywhere near my desktop, but it does outrun the laptop by a decent bit, I'd say. Alright, so in conclusion, is this PC worth getting to game on? That's a tough answer to give. I'd like to say no, but if you're really low on cash and you need a PC for something, some light work, some light gaming, this can definitely do the job. It came with 8 gigs of RAM. One of the sticks was dead, but it had 8 gigs of RAM. It has a decent dual core in it. Definitely fast enough to play games like Borderlands or Grid Autosport, like we benchmarked. CSGO runs fine. A lot of games run okay on it, even above a standard console frame rate of 30 frames per second. So it's not bad, but it's not what I would consider a go out and buy right now kind of thing. I think you'd be better off spending $300 to $400 versus $100 or less, and putting some money into a decent processor and GPU and building a computer that will last you a lot longer in the long run, and it'll definitely give you a lot better performance. Well, thank you for watching, and maybe I'll see you in the next one.